Secrets. Funny little things, aren't they? People spend their whole lives wrapping themselves in masks, in stories, in carefully crafted versions of who they want you to believe they are. They smile when they're breaking. They laugh when they're lying. They swear loyalty while they're already planning betrayal. And the one person you thought you knew best, the one you call a soulmate, oh, they're the greatest performer of them all. Because the closer someone is to you, the more dangerous their secrets become. Secrets. They're like little parasites, aren't they? Quiet at first, almost invisible, hidden deep inside the flesh of a relationship. You don't see them, you don't hear them, you don't even know they're there. But they grow, slowly, feeding off trust, feeding off closeness, feeding off love. The person keeping it tells themselves it's harmless, that silence is protection, that some truths are better left unsaid. They laugh, they touch your hand, they look you in the eye, and all the while something dangerous is crawling just beneath their smile. And the longer it stays hidden, the sharper its teeth become. You think you know someone, because they told you you did, because they showed you glimpses of who they wanted you to believe they were. But the secret has been whispering in the background, reshaping every word, every gesture, every moment you shared. It doesn't matter if it's big or small, a secret always poisons. It makes intimacy an illusion, turns affection into performance. You think you're sharing a life with someone, but really, you're living in a stage play they scripted. They rehearse their lines, they deliver their performance, and you clap without realizing the scene is fake. And then, one day, the curtain slips. That's the thing about secrets. They demand exposure. They can't stay hidden forever. They rot, they swell. They force their way to the surface like a wound that refuses to heal. Maybe it slips out in a careless phrase, a half-truth, a contradiction they didn't catch. Maybe it crashes down through a discovery you weren't meant to make, a message you weren't meant to read, a look you weren't meant to notice. The exposure might come quietly or violently, but it always comes. The secret is a ticking clock, and when the alarm goes off, you can't stop the sound. The interesting part is the reaction. The person who kept the secret will scramble, won't they? They'll say it was for your own good, that they didn't want to hurt you, that timing wasn't right. Excuses flow like water when the truth comes crashing in. But here's the twisted beauty. It doesn't matter what they say, because once the secret is revealed, it rewrites the entire story. Every laugh, every kiss, every promise. Suddenly it all looks different. The past transforms right in front of your eyes, because now you see it through the lens of what was hidden. It's like finding out your favorite painting was a forgery all along. The colors are still there, the strokes still elegant, but you can never look at it the same way again. And that, right there, is the power of exposure. It doesn't just shatter the moment. It reaches backward, poisoning memory, unraveling the comfort of what was. That's why secrets are so destructive. Not just because of what they hide, but because of how they warp everything that came before. And once they're revealed, you're left with nothing but questions. What else didn't I know? What else was a lie? Was any of it real? It's brutal. Yes, but it's also liberation. Because when the secret finally crawls into the light, you're no longer trapped in the theater they built. You're not sitting in the dark, clapping for their performance. You see the wires, the makeup, the illusion. You may hate what you see, but at least it's real. And reality, no matter how ugly, is always stronger than fantasy. Because with reality, you can rebuild. With lies, you can only sink deeper into the swamp. People like to believe secrets protect. They say silence is love. That withholding is kindness. But what they really mean is, I wanted to protect myself, not you. Every secret is selfish at its core. It's someone deciding that their comfort is worth more than your clarity, that their illusion is worth more than your truth. And when the exposure comes, it strips them bare. Suddenly, they can't hide behind the mask anymore, because the mask has been ripped off and tossed on the floor. So yes, secrets always demand exposure. It's not a matter of if, it's only a matter of when. And when it happens, when the hidden truth crawls into the open, it won't feel like revelation. It'll feel like explosion, because truth doesn't trickle, it erupts. And when it does, nothing and no one comes out of it unchanged. The closer someone stands to you, the sharper the blade they hide behind their back. That's the cruel joke, isn't it? Strangers can hurt you, yes, but only in passing. Their words sting, their actions bruise, but they don't get under your skin. The ones who can really cut, the ones who can leave scars you'll carry for years, are the ones you invited into your life, into your trust, into your heart. You let them close enough to whisper, close enough to see you without your armor. And that's exactly why their betrayal slices deeper than anything else ever could. People talk about love as if it's safety, as if finding your so-called soulmate is the ultimate protection from the cruelty of the world. But what they forget is this: intimacy sharpens the knife. The closer you get to someone, the more power you hand them. Every secret you share, every weakness you expose, every crack in your armor you reveal, it all becomes ammunition in their hands. They may never use it, or maybe they're already using it, carefully, quietly, without you even realizing it. And when the truth comes out, you don't just feel pain, you feel stupidity. Because you realize you gave them the map to your heart, and they used it to plant the explosives. It's not always about active betrayal. Sometimes it's the hidden truths, the sicknesses, the shadows they never let you see. They smile at you in the daylight, but at night they wrestle with secrets too heavy to keep buried forever. And when you discover them, it's not just shock, it's devastation. Because you thought you knew them, really knew them. You built your life on the belief that what you saw was what you got. And then suddenly, in one cruel instant, you realize you've been loving a ghost, embracing a mask, whispering promises to someone who never truly existed. That's why the pain runs deeper than any wound from the outside. Outsiders can throw stones, they can mock, they can attack. but their blows only hit the surface. The inner circle, though, the one you let closest, when they strike, it goes straight to the core. They don't just break trust, they break identity. They make you question your own judgment, your own instincts. You don't just ask, how could they do this? You ask, how could I not have seen it? That's the cut beneath the cut, the doubt that festers long after the truth is revealed. And once that blade has pierced, it doesn't heal like a normal wound. You carry it into every future bond, every new connection. You start flinching at kindness, second, guessing sincerity, waiting for the knife that always seems to come sooner or later. That's the legacy of the closest ones, hiding the sharpest knives. They don't just break the moment. They break the foundation of trust itself. But let's not pretend it isn't fascinating in a twisted way. Because when someone that close hides a truth, it shows you just how fragile human connection really is. We build relationships on faith, on assumptions, on carefully curated performances. And it only takes one hidden blade to expose how much of it was fantasy. That's the moment when the curtain is ripped down, when you see the wires, the stage lights, the artificial smiles. And while it hurts, while it bleeds, it also forces you to see reality with brutal clarity. The closest ones, yes, they hide the sharpest knives. And when they finally strike, they carve away your illusions. They remind you that love is not a shield, it's a gamble. That intimacy doesn't just bind, it exposes. And in that exposure lies the risk of betrayal greater than anything an enemy could ever dream of delivering. Because an enemy cuts your flesh, but a soulmate's hidden truth, that cuts straight into your soul. Truth doesn't knock politely. It doesn't wait for you to be ready. It doesn't clear its throat and ask if this is a good time. No, truth crashes in like a wrecking ball, tearing through the fragile walls of comfort you built around yourself. You think you're safe. You think you've figured out the people closest to you. You think the world is steady under your feet. And then in one instant, the hidden truth explodes into the open, and nothing is ever the same again. That's how it works. Not a drip, not a trickle, but a violent eruption that shatters every illusion you clung to. People fool themselves into thinking they can control when and how truth comes out. They bury it, they cover it with lies, they hide it behind fake smiles and soft words, believing they've locked it away forever. But the thing about truth is, it doesn't stay buried. It's alive. It pulses. It grows restless. It pushes against the walls of its prison until one day it bursts through with a force no one can contain. And when it does, it doesn't just reveal itself. It destroys everything in its path. Lies, trust, comfort, relationships, all collateral damage in the explosion of exposure. And that's why it feels like an attack, like violence. Because it doesn't arrive gently. It arrives in a way that forces you to see what you were never prepared to see. Maybe it's a confession blurted out in desperation. Maybe it's a message that wasn't meant for your eyes. Maybe it's a slip of the tongue that opens the door to something much darker. However it comes, It hits like a blade straight to the gut. 1 second you're standing in the illusion, the next you're on the floor, choking on reality. That moment changes you, because when the truth explodes, it doesn't just tell you about the other person. It tells you about yourself. It exposes your blindness, your naivety, the way you ignored the red flags, the way you convinced yourself everything was fine. That's the part that cuts deeper than the truth itself. The realization that you believed the mask, that you accepted the performance, that you clung to a lie because it was easier than facing the possibility of betrayal. The explosion doesn't just shatter your trust in them. It shatters your trust in yourself. And here's the irony. The bigger the secret, the louder the explosion. The more carefully it was hidden, the more violently it demands to be seen. That's why it feels like a bomb going off in your life. Because the longer truth is suppressed, the more force it gathers in the shadows. When it finally escapes, it doesn't whisper, it roars. And that roar drowns out everything else. Suddenly, the world you thought you knew is gone, reduced to rubble. And you're left standing in the smoke, wondering what was real and what was only illusion. People will tell you truth sets you free, as if it's some clean, liberating moment of clarity. But they forget that freedom often comes at the cost of destruction. The chains don't fall off quietly, they're shattered. The walls don't gently crumble, they collapse. That's why exposure feels like an explosion. Because before you can walk free, before you can step into reality, everything false has to be obliterated. So when the truth finally arrives, don't expect it to be gentle. Don't expect it to slip into your life like a soft breeze. Expect it to blow the roof off, to break the ground beneath you, to leave you gasping in the rubble of your own illusions. Because truth doesn't knock, it explodes. And when the dust settles, when the ringing in your ears finally fades, you'll realize it left you with something you never had before: the raw, unfiltered reality you were always too afraid to face. Secrets are funny things, aren't they? They sit there in the shadows, silent, patient, waiting for their moment. People think they can lock them away, hide them behind closed doors, bury them beneath carefully chosen words. But secrets are alive. They breathe, they itch. They claw at the skin of their keeper, whispering in the quiet moments, growing heavier with every heartbeat. The more someone tries to suppress them, the louder they scream inside. And here's the thing, they don't stay hidden forever. Sooner or later, the mask slips, the crack widens, and the truth leaks out, staining everything it touches. When it does, it's never in the way anyone expects. It's rarely a clean, well-timed revelation. No, secrets tend to reveal themselves in chaos. They tumble out in the middle of an argument, slip through a nervous laugh, get exposed by an accident, or show up in the silence that speaks louder than any word. They betray their owner because secrets have no loyalty. They don't care about the image someone tried to build. They don't care about the trust they're about to break. They don't care about the destruction that will follow. Secrets exist only to rot and to eventually burst. And people, oh, People love to pretend they're good at hiding. They rehearse their lines. They fake their smiles. They act like they've got it all under control. But the eyes always give it away. The hesitation in a voice, the nervous twitch in the hands, the way someone avoids a certain topic, it's all evidence. The performance might fool most, but the truth leaves fingerprints. You can sense when something's wrong, even if no one says it. You can feel the weight of what's not being spoken, the tension pressing in the air, the lie sitting like poison between two people, and it's only a matter of time before it bursts. That's the dangerous thing about hidden truths. They rot from the inside out. They don't just destroy the person who carries them, they eat away at everyone around them. Relationships crumble. Trust dissolves, love turns sour, and suddenly the foundation of everything you thought was solid collapses. The truth was always there, buried under layers of silence and pretense. But when it finally claws its way to the surface, it reveals just how fragile everything really was. And once it's out, there's no putting it back in. Once the curtain's pulled back, you can't unsee what's behind it. People fear exposure more than the secret itself. They cling to the lie not because it's beautiful, but because it's safe, it's familiar. It keeps the world stable, at least on the surface. But the problem is, stability built on a lie is an illusion. It's like building a house on sand. Looks strong for a while, until the first storm comes. Then everything sinks, and the lie that was meant to protect ends up being the very reason everything collapses. That's why secrets are so cruel. They let you believe in false security until the moment they rip it away. And here's the irony. The secret isn't the most dangerous part. It's the revelation. The moment it comes out, it doesn't just show the truth. It shows the betrayal, the manipulation, the games played in the dark. It changes the way people look at each other forever. Suddenly, every memory is questioned. Every smile, every word, every moment is re-examined under the light of what was hidden. Did they mean it? Were they lying then too? Was anything real? That's the power of exposure. It rewrites the past as much as it reshapes the future. So when a hidden truth comes crawling into the open, it doesn't just end a lie. It ends illusions. It strips away the comfort of not knowing and forces you into a harsher reality. And people don't like harsh reality. They like soft, easy stories. But reality doesn't care about comfort. It cares about being seen. And the truth, once revealed, will stand there, naked, undeniable, unstoppable, whether you're ready for it or not. People think they can live with a secret like it's just some little pocket knife they keep hidden away. Small, harmless, something they can tuck inside their coat and forget about. But it's never just a pocket knife, is it? It's more like a ticking device, sitting there, humming softly, waiting for the right moment to go off. And the funny part is, they know it's there. Deep down, they can hear it, feel it, carry the weight of it everywhere they go. Every smile, every laugh, every kiss, it's all a little heavier because that secret is pressing against the skin, reminding them that it exists. And yet, they keep it like some kind of twisted treasure, pretending the ticking will never stop. But it does stop. It always does. And when it stops, it's not quiet. It's loud. It's messy. It's destructive. It's the kind of noise that shakes foundations, breaks the floor beneath your feet, and leaves everyone wondering how long it was there, waiting, building. That's the cruelty of it. People are so focused on keeping it hidden that they forget the damage is growing even in the dark. It's not just waiting, it's spreading, seeping into the walls of their life, poisoning everything from the inside out. And when it finally bursts open, it's not just the secret that's revealed. It's the rot it's caused all along.